Good evening, buenas noches, and thank you for tuning in. On behalf of all of us at the locally based, independently owned bookstore, Books and Books in Miami, Florida, and in partnership with Miami Book Fair, it's my pleasure to welcome you to a virtual afternoon with Brad Meltzer and Chris Eliopoulos to discuss I Am Oprah Winfrey, published by our friends at Dial Books. Brad Meltzer is the New York Times bestselling author of Heroes for My Son, Heroes for My Daughter, The Lincoln Conspiracy, and a number of suspense novels like The Lightning Rod. He also helped find the missing 9/11 flag with his History Channel television show, Brad Meltzer's Lost History. To moderate tonight's conversation, we are also joined by Christopher Eliopoulos, who began his illustration career at Marvel Comics and has worked on thousands of comics, including Cosmic Commandos and Monster Mayhem. He is the author/illustrator of the picture books The Yawns Are Coming and The Giggles Are Coming. Throughout this evening's broadcast, you're invited to ask questions by using the Ask a Question feature at the bottom of the screen, and you can order your copy of I Am Oprah Winfrey from Books and Books below by pressing the green button. We appreciate each and every order and the generous donations from viewers everywhere. And now, without further ado, I'd like to welcome our guests to the virtual stage.
Virtual stage. Oh, somebody's busy.
Oh, hello there. I had no idea that we were doing a live event tonight. I was just reading our book, as I always do. You had yours open too? Did you do that without even
No, I just conned you.
Oh, I thought I was like, wow, that was in sync. Miami, here's the thing. First of all, we love Books and Books. And not just because they give me free t-shirts, which they did. So good. Although I bought this one. No, actually I did. One time they gave me a free t-shirt, but I bought this one last time because they were doing a fundraiser. And so they do have good t-shirts. But Chris and I are so happy to be here. We're only doing 2 events. And let's be honest, last night was a total train wreck in Boston that we did because we didn't know what we were doing. We were just making it up as we went.
We always do.
Now, after that event last night, are completely old pros. And this is going to be such a better event than last night, unless you were at last night's, in which case they're going to be the same event. But I'm telling you, this will be better. We brought surprises for you because here's the thing.
Yeah.
The Ordinary People Change the World books have one lesson, and one lesson I think that's very important for all of us to remember. And that is, if you come to our events, you are rewarded. And if you don't come, you get nothing. That's what you get. You get nothing by not coming. So if the people who didn't come, they're not going to see what we have here tonight. They're not going to enjoy the fun we're going to have tonight. And we are going to now take a blood oath, get a knife. Do not get a knife. That was a joke. But we're going to take a blood oath. Just don't tell anyone what you showed you tonight, because then the publisher will be mad and everyone gets mad at us. And they're like, you should have just told them that. And it's okay.
But just rub it in, though, on Twitter and Facebook.
Yes, definitely on Twitter and Facebook. 100% what Chris just said. Say, I heard the best stuff tonight. That was the greatest secret you ever shared us, Chris and Brad. You guys gave us the best secrets ever. Make sure that they have regret in their hearts. That's really the message of the evening, is we want regret in anyone's hearts who didn't show up. We are here to talk about, I Am Oprah Winfrey. Look at us both ready. Can we do it? Yes, that is good. Look at that. That's called product placement.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I actually think this, let's do that. The front and the back. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was good.
All right.
And you thought,
see, practice.
Imagine if you paid for this, by the way, if you paid for this circus that's going on. So here's the thing. I invited my kids to come. They did not want to come. I invited my wife to come. She's literally getting her hair done right now. That is how impressed they are with watching me. So you are my family tonight. I disown all of them, and you are my family, and Chris is too. And really, all kidding aside, it's interesting, for those of you who have joined us before, these books are about Chris and myself just loving our kids. That's what they're really about. And trying to give our kids better heroes to look up to, heroes of character, heroes of just kindness and compassion, those things that seem to be lost in America today. But interestingly, this is the first book we've done. We've gotten, for every single book we've ever done, we've gotten some form of hate mail from someone who says, how could you do, and we've done Abraham Lincoln, and they're literally like, why'd you do Abraham Lincoln, smart guy? Huh? Why Abraham Lincoln? Like, they complain, Rosa Parks, Dr. King, Amelia Earhart, a complaint about everyone. But it's interesting. A lot of people have asked us, why'd you pick Oprah? And so I do want to talk about that, because for us, we always take our cues from our own kids. And as I looked at our kids, I didn't know this was handsome night for art.
Hey, seeing double on the screen.
The thing that for us is I look at my kids, and my kids are anxious. We're all anxious, right? As adults, and our kids feed off of that. We're in this age of anxiety. And we knew, Chris and I talked about, we wanted to do our first book about self-love. And that was an important thing for us. How do we teach people to accept themselves for who they are? And then also, it was about making sure I wanted my daughter and my sons to be able to see a strong businesswoman. That was also on the checklist of like things that we looked at that we hadn't done before. And so Oprah became the choice. And we all know Oprah, right? I mean, she's arguably the most famous modern person we've ever done. She's certainly the most current person we've ever done. Get that. That's good. Is my head that big, really? Or is that perspective?
I'm just hiding way in the back.
Yeah, I know. Krista's always like, don't put me on camera. Don't put me on. I'm like, watch. He's far more entertaining, by the way, because he can do magic like draw. But for us, one of the things that was really interesting about her is not the fame. We all know the famous stories, right? We know when she has the Queen on, or she has, Prince Harry, and she's got Meghan, she does the interview. But the book barely deals with that famous side of things. That's not what makes her interesting. What makes her interesting, and we've seen it now, right? Whether on Facebook or Instagram, you've seen the studies that our kids every day are scrolling and feeling bad about themselves, thinking less of themselves. And for us, what Oprah stood for, and this was a story that just really, we research her before we start. It was this story when she was a little girl that she hated how she looked so much that she used to go to sleep. She thought her nose was too wide, so she slept with a clothespin on her nose to make her nose smaller. And it's heartbreaking, right? I mean, it's one of the heartbreaking details, and there it is, right? Sleeping with her clothespin on. And that's what our kids are feeling all the time. And it gets even worse as she gets older. She starts her journalism career, and they tell her that her body's the wrong shape, and that she's too overweight, and that her hair is not the right size. Her hair falls out when they try to change it. Her skin's too dark, they tell her she cares too much about people. And one of my favorite stories in there is early in her career, she covers a family whose house burns down. And she goes to the family to bring them blankets the next day. And the station manager, there he is, yells at her and says, "What are you doing? You can't be part of the story." And she's like, "The story? What about being a good person?" And I want my daughter to know, and I want my sons to know, that her whole life, Oprah Winfrey is taught that her body's the wrong size, her skin is the wrong color, that she's too kind to people. And I don't care what anyone says, that is absolutely never true. The only thing you ever need to be is yourself. It is the greatest gift you can give to yourself. And as a book, that's what I Am Oprah Winfrey stands for, is that idea of self-acceptance. And for me, I will tell you personally, my core belief. My core belief is I believe ordinary people change the world. But the part that I never say, but that's always part of that, is if you accept yourself for who you are. You can't just change the world for no reason. It doesn't just happen, but you got to accept yourself for who you are. And that's my issue. That's my struggle all these years. I've spent years kind of always chasing the next thing and figuring it out, even in college, even in law school, and finally just realizing, and these books kind of came about when I finally accepted it, is just to accept us for who we are. And we all need that lesson. Our kids could use that light right now. We all need a little bit of light right now. And I think the other thing for me personally was obviously, as Oprah finds her success and creates this amazing show, the one thing that she does, and again, we know those Prince Harry interviews, but what she does on a daily basis is just bring regular, ordinary people on. And for me, the story hit home because how everyone in their family, you have a relative that you call aunt or uncle, but they're not really an aunt and uncle. They're not a blood relative. They're just close to the family. In my house, it was Aunt Joan, and Aunt Joan is who we grew up with. And when I was 13 years old, my mom and Aunt Joan had this falling out. I never knew what it was about. I just knew she wasn't in our lives anymore. She disappeared. It was gone. She was gone. And 20 years go by. 20 years we don't hear from Joan. And my mom's phone rings one day, and my sister's about to get married, and the phone rings, and my mom says, "Who's this?" She says, "Terry, it's Joan." She's like, "Joan who?" And she's like, "It's me, Joni." She didn't recognize who it was anymore, her best friend. And she says, "Why are you calling me 20 years later?" And she says, "Well, I was watching Oprah." And this is pre-Facebook. Oprah says, we all have people in our lives that we were connected to when we were younger, so vital, we lost touch with reach out and go find them and see what happens when you connect with them again. And not that that's the magic moment that, Oprah gave to the universe, but what I love and I can't possibly make up is after that, my mom was so moved. She invites Joan to my sister's wedding. She comes to the wedding, and the part you can't make up is right after that, Joan dies. And right after that, my mom passes away. And I love Oprah and Oprah for that. And again, not that it's the magic single wonderful moment, but it proves what Oprah does. And what Oprah does for all those years is she brings on regular people and she lets them tell their story. And then people feel, wait a minute, that happened to me too. That happened to me too. Whether it was issues of eating disorders, whether it was issues of weight, whether it was issues of depression, whether it was issues of anxiety, people felt like they were heard and they felt like they weren't alone. And it's one of the great things that television can give, and hopefully books can give, I know too, is hope. It brings back hope when you need it, especially when you're sitting alone, and especially where we are right now. We all need to know we're not alone. And so I owe Oprah Winfrey for that. And of course, I love the details you'll see in the book that, she's the greatest Black philanthropist in all of history. And many of her gifts, you're never going to even know who they went to because she gives them anonymously. And in this time when so many people want to put their names on a building and say how important and self-important they are, I love that Oprah just gives anonymously. We got it. We know who Oprah is. She can do it and all day long. People will report on it. But to do it anonymously, that's a sign of someone that's doing some good. So I love that. We did have help with the book from Oprah's team. We have no idea if she read it or not. Her team is like Jane Goodall had like a team of 2 people. And then Billie Jean King, when we did that, when she was helping us, I spent 2 hours on the phone with her. She was correcting details. But Oprah had this full team. It was actually this one woman who was really our contact. And they were so amazing. And they gave us great footage and pictures for Chris to draw from. And in the pictures you see in the back of her family, those were Oprah's personal photos that she gave us to support the project. So we love that also. And if you don't help us, then we cancel your book about you because we want nothing to do with you. But so far, everyone who's alive has been really sweet.
Even the dead people have been really nice.
What I want to do is turn it over to Chris. Chris is going to show you how to draw now. We are not joking when I say you're going to learn to draw. So don't just sit there. When Chris says, go get pencil and paper, don't just sit there.
Yeah.
Get pencil and paper. I will show you. I'm going to do my drawing. You better show up your drawing.
Are you going to do it on your phone or are you going to do it on a piece of paper this time?
I like doing it on my phone. It was extra bad on my phone.
It was good.
You think?
Plus, you had like a reason that it.
By the way, yesterday when I did my drawing, I'm gonna reenact what happened when I did my drawing yesterday, as I showed it to Chris, and this was Chris' reaction.
It's not true.
Yeah, it was like that long. It was a giant pause. It was like the worst review. It was worse than the review when my editor wrote. This is true. In the early version of one of my thrillers, Rob Weisbach once wrote. My first editor and publisher wrote literally vertically, sideways, along the whole side of the page. I'm so bored right now. I want to put a gun in my mouth. That's what he wrote, and that's what your face, Chris, said yesterday too.
Oh, I was trying to be nice. I was giving you like credit because it was done on a phone with your finger. Like
no, your face was full disappointment. It was though you wanted to laugh, but you knew there were children present. And
I mean, I will say that the first graders that I dealt with today kind of had you beat. So really sorry.
It's not hard to beat the lowest.
All right.
Okay.
So
take me off. Get your questions ready.
Get your questions ready. Put them down right below. You'll see it says ask a question down below as I teach you guys how to draw. So if you have a pencil and paper, here we go. We're going to start very simple shapes. They're going to be like anything that you could normally do without looking at it. We're going to start with a heart shape coming over the top. So you're going to do like one little heart shape that comes out. And we're just going to repeat it on the other side. That's going to be like the top of her hair. And then we're going to just repeat that on this side. We're going to come down. And almost like an S shape, right? We've got the little S. Then on the other side, we're going to try something different. We're going to take this and make a little half circle. And then another half circle. And then we're going to come back a little bit. And one more little outward flare. All right. Next up, we're going to do a couple little circles for her earrings on either side. And then we're going to do her chin. So it's just a half circle down below. Now, the trick is, though, when we're done with this, you guys have to take pictures and post it to social media, put it on our Twitter or our Facebook, and let us know how you did. Because I want to basically tell Brad that I'm out of a job and you guys are going to take it from me. So next up, we're going to finish up her hair on either side. We're just going to do little half circles again. We're going to come back, forward, back, forward, back. And then we're going to repeat it on the other side. We're going to come this way, this way, this way, this way, and back. Then finally, we always have her wearing a little pearl necklace. So just do a bunch of little circles down below. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do her nose. Her nose is like a backward C right in the middle. All right. It's a little odd because I'm at an angle, but you'll get the idea. And then we do 2 little ovals for her eyes, and then we're going to fill them in. Then we're going to do a couple of eyebrows, 2 little parentheses on their sides up there. And then we're going to do her mouth. We're going to give her a big old smile. It looks lopsided for you guys and looks perfectly straight for me. It's a very weird angle. And then we're going to do another half circle for her smile. And then we're going to do a little half circle the other direction. Put a little line and then fill that in. And then finally, what we're going to do is we're going to take a couple of little lines to just show their hair growing out on the top. And then most important, sign your name. And once that's done, I want you guys to turn that page over, and we're going to do one more drawing. First thing we're going to do is we're going to do the letter C. We're going to draw it right on the side of your page like that. Then next up, we're going to do a little U shape. We're going to come down, actually make it a full circle. Why don't we come all the way around? Probably looks like, yeah, it looks lopsided. This angle is awful. Next up, we're going to do another little backwards C on this side. Then we're going to do a little line right in the middle of the face. And then we're going to do a little backwards C. Then we're going to do 2 little eyes, ovals, one on this side and one on that side, and then fill them in. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple little eyebrows. Boop, boop. Then we're going to give him a couple, pair of glasses. A little rectangle on this side, a little rectangle on this side. And then I want you to connect there, there, and there. And then we're going to do another smile. We're going to give him a little smile. And then big open mouth. And again, same thing like before. We're going to give it a little half circle with a line. Fill it in. I will let you guys in a little secret. So when we were working on Xavier Riddle in the Secret Museum, the first iteration of Brad, the Brad character, looked like this. But they were afraid, like people thought he might like have a serious disease or something like that. So we had to give him some hair. I think Brad was secretly happy about this. So something he can't do in life, but we can. We'll give him a little hair. Right? So we got a little hair. And of course, the best thing about Brad, the character, although I don't know if Brad in real life does this, is his cape. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line down this way, a line down this way. And then we're going to draw a little circle or half circle underneath. And then we're going to draw a line down, a line down. And then we're going to draw a couple little lines on either side. And this is going to be his sweater. And maybe even another little line for his. And there you have Brad for the character. So now's the point in the lesson where Brad's going to come back on and he's going to show you how he did. So you can all laugh at him. And then we can all show how you did so much better than he did. All right, Brad, let's say, he's not even done. Are you still working on it?
No.
Okay. What do you got?
I want to show my yesterday one instead.
Oh,
It's so good.
You saved it from yesterday?
Yeah, I did because I wanted to see your face again. It's so good.
Did you do Brad, or did you just like? Were you just
No,
showing Twitter?
I can't draw myself. It feels like narcissism. When you started doing me, I was like, I can't do that.
Well, I just drew myself. You can't draw yourself.
I know. I can't do it. It just feels like the mind is so good. Anyway, you have to. Everyone definitely has to post theirs.
Yeah, we love seeing them, especially online, because it's so much fun to sort of see if my lessons work. I know it's weird because I have to look at an angle, and everybody's face looks kind of like distorted when I draw it. So
Only you see that. No one else sees that. Okay, you want to do one more?
Sure. Who do you want to do?
Okay, we should do this. We like democracy here. In the questions and answers, let's see who's fastest. Who do you want to see?
But which character are you going to make me draw? That's going to be like, I forgot how to draw.
Let's see what the first couple ones are that you know how to do.
You know what it is? Every time I do a character, I sort of move on to the next one, and I forget how to draw them until it's time for promotion, and then I go in and I have to remember how to.
And by the way, if you know us and tell us you're here, because this thing is not like Zoom where you can tell who's here. I can't see anything, so I'm just totally blind. Roy Kent, that's so funny. Amelia. Oh. Okay, let's do Amelia. Although John Wall, I love you for Roy Kent, but like there may be kids here, so let's do Amelia Earhart is the first one. Amanda wins.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. Wait, you want to do it for speed, or you want to draw everybody?
I think everybody wants to draw her, right?
Okay, let's do it. Yeah, I'm going to draw now.
Oh, you're going to give this a shot? Okay.
No, I can't. I can't do myself. You know that.
Okay, so here we go. Okay, we're going to start with a circle at the top, and then a circle inside of it. Then we're going to do a little rectangle next to it. Look at that front. Look at him. He's concentrating so hard.
I know. I got to get it right.
We're going to do another circle. And then I want you to do another circle inside of it. Then what we're going to do is do a rectangle on this side, a little longer. And then we're going to do like a half circle up over the top. All right. Now we're just going to do a little line straight down the middle. Got it. Okay. Now we're going to come down, make the flap on her helmet like that. And then we're going to do a little circle in there. And if you want to make it look a little three-dimensional, you put a little shadow on one side. All right, so it looks like there's a little shadow, like it's thicker than. Next up comes, we're going to do basically a J shape. We're just going to do a J. All right. Now we're going to do the flap on the other side, like that. And then we're going to have a little circle on that side. And do the same thing again. Our little side is shaded. Now we're going to give her a nose. We're going to do a little cute little button nose. And then we're going to do two little ovals for her eyes, filling in a little bit of it. And a couple little eyebrows. I just like watching Brad frown like as he's trying so hard. Then we're going to do a little smile. Now comes the fun part because we get to do her back of her helmet. And then you can fill that in so it looks like she's got a little helmet going around the back of her head. And of course, do a little oval down here. And then you can do a little rectangle that comes back this way. And then another one slightly behind it. And then do some lines sticking off of it. So it's her Flyers scarf. And then if you want, we'll do two little lines like this. And of course, the always famous little heart on her chest. She's got a heart of gold. And there's your
Ready?
Amelia. What do you think? Let's see. Yeah, it's good.
Oh, now you're just, now look at it. He's just lying. You're just lying now.
I was trying to imitate last night.
When
Just
your voice goes up that high, that means it's bad.
I was trying to imitate last night to make you feel better.
Last night was like, it's great.
No, I wasn't that bad. Come on.
Okay,
So we very encouraging.
Seriously, we want to see your pictures. I don't know if you can upload them here. Okay, so we got questions here. Ask your questions. We're going to do them because I actually love the questions. I think they're more interesting. Now, I'm going to do the first question. The first question is what surprise did you bring us? That's a good question. I'm going to tell you what we brought you. I'm going to tell you right now. So here's the thing. So Oprah was supposed to come out in September, and because of just supply lines and everything else, it got delayed until now in October. And I Am Pay, my kids love that title, I Am Pay, was supposed to also come out in September, and that got delayed into 2022. I think, what is it, Chris? June?
It is June, I believe. Yeah.
June. Okay. So, but here's the thing: is the books are made, and in fact, there are only 2 books of I Am Pay in the universe, and here they are. The only 2. They literally shipped them from China. They came here. We were going to give them out tonight, but then we wouldn't have any, and that would be crazy. Here's the thing: is everyone else, they're going to have to wait until June 2022. But we brought this tonight. We're going to show you the early look. Just don't tell anyone what's inside. Now, the key thing about IMP is this amazing architect. But what I love is he was the #1 request we were getting. We had all these people saying, you've done white heroes, black heroes, Native American heroes, Indian heroes, Hispanic, Latinx, everything. Where's an Asian American hero? Mm-hmm. So we hear you. When you say who you want, we listen. And we were like, that's right. We haven't done anybody. So I Am Pay came. And what I love is you get to see his life, and you see his life in China. And his mother teaches him about meditation in the mountains. And this is one of my favorite drawings that Chris has ever drawn, is when she takes him up to the mountains and she says, like, calm down, sit and listen. And that picture of him and mom, by the way, it looks so peaceful. We had him redraw that like 15 times. He was so not peaceful because he was just like,
I wasn't
how many
peaceful.
times do I have to draw this? Because it had to be perfect.
To meditate.
It had to be perfect. Now, the other thing that's really great about this book is when you're reading, okay, look, you're like, oh, this is a normal book. But then you get to where he learns about what skyscrapers are. And the book, this is a book about changing how you perceive things, right? Changing the look at things in a new way. So the book goes sideways. Yes, it does. It runs sideways too. So you get to see that when he was younger, this is where he saw buildings that were 10 and 20 and 30 stories high and decides to become an architect. And then here's the really cool part. We show you, by the way, if you were in Boston, you get to see the Boston skyline. That played well in Boston.
They were very happy last night.
But so now you get to the Louvre, and we also, again, you got to go sideways. We don't do that trick once, we do it twice. So you're in the Louvre in the famous pyramid, the pyramid on the cover. This is obviously IMP is responsible for adding that pyramid. And we're like, we want to do something amazing. So you see it from inside the pyramid. So you see his greatest structure that he's ever built. And we didn't want to just give you a regular structure. We wanted to give you, ready? Here it is. You're going to see it up close first time. 1, 2, 3. Pop-up action. It is literally pop-up in the book. I think, by the way, this genius thing that we did is what delayed the thing by a year, I'm sure. And no one is, I know some of you have seen this maybe, but Chris has literally illustrated it. While the pandemic was first hitting, one of the things that happened is Jason Henry, our amazing designer, was trying to figure out, how do you do a 4-sided pyramid? How do you make the whole place and everything around? Do we just do the pyramid? Do we do the buildings around it? And then he's slowly sending us videos. He's making it in his house when people are first getting home. And then Chris, why don't you tell him what you added in the back here too?
So it's really up close. But what I did was, part of the building I would cut away so you could see the interior. And in that one spot that Brad's holding up, I actually did the Mona Lisa. You can tell it's the Mona Lisa because there's 5,000 people around it. And I want to say I did it up so close. I had to get really close. I think one of those people is Brad.
We're going to say,
tell because they all look like those.
They're all little ball people. Yeah, I know.
Well, they all look like those characters from the Life game. They're just little balls with a.
And that happens to look like me. So now we're going to read you again. No one's seen this. Our publisher's like, don't share with anyone. We're like, no, we're going to share. That's what we do. We share. So I'm going to read you. This is the end of I Am Pay. And here is the art for it. And it says, I love this message. In my life, I saw both ancient art and modern design. Each one made me who I am. Each is beautiful in its own way. It's just a matter of perspective. And obviously, that's what this book is about. Never stop looking at things from different points of view. Keep your eyes and ears open to the world and your mind open to new ideas. Let the light in. When you do, you'll have a blueprint for success. And the final page is here again at the Louvre. And it says, like the gardens of my youth, life is not a straight path. It curves and zigzags filled with surprises that are meant to be explored and discovered. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. Your future is yours to construct brick by brick. You can design it, shape it, and build something beautiful, build something meaningful, build something that expresses who you are. I am I.M. Pei, and I know that you are the architect of your own life. That's what it says on the back. So you are the first ones to see it. And again, no, don't share. Don't tell anyone, what I saw and what they're doing. Oh, that's a good one. That's a handsome guy there. Don't, you're going to say, I'm going to be nice. Brad and Chris tell me to be nice, and you should, but not about this. You tell them you missed it, and it may have singly been the greatest thing I ever saw. And you know what? Tell them we gave a car out to everyone. When they say they give a car out like Oprah, you get a car, you say, yes, I did. We gave out a car. My friend Allie's here, so I told her we were going to give out cars tonight. If I had all the money, by the way, I would give out a car to everyone here. I really would. Okay, let's do your questions.
Yeah.
And we'll do some more fun stuff that we can show you. So question, I'm going to just go, it says, here's Donovan. This is a really interesting question. It says, how have your styles evolved over the course of writing these books, both in writing and in art? That's a really interesting question. I will start by saying, when you read Amelia Earhart, it's a beautiful book for little kids, for 4 and 5-year-olds. And because we really were just like, let's just give you the bare basics. And I think with every book, and it kind of peaked to Harriet Tubman, we just started adding more information. The kids wanted to learn more. They wanted to follow more. Like Lincoln and Amelia Earhart are kind of the pared down versions. But I think over time, and the world has changed in the 7-8 years we've been doing this, is kids need more inspiration. And kids, the world has become a more grim place. And I think that inspirational side has kind of stood out more and more. And I think at some point, maybe it was Harriet Tubman, we were like, did we go too far? Did we have too much information? And we started peeling back to Jane Goodall. And I think Jane Goodall became the model for us for making sure of that balance between you're going to get the information on the writing side, but not so much that, it's taken away from the beautiful art. And Chris, of course, you should answer how you feel the art has changed. I know how the art has changed.
Well, it's so funny. I started drawing just so simply, and having to do this every day. I always tell the kids when I'm talking to them, you can only get better when you do something over and over again. And so I've been drawing constantly for the last, what are we on? Almost 10 years now doing this. I can only feel like I've gotten better. But I also, one of the first things that when Brad and I sat down and talked about these books was that we wanted to make sure they were accurate all the way through. And so that meant a lot of research. And I found as I've gone on, I've done a lot more research and making sure that I get things accurate. The buildings, the boats, the cars, the time period. We make sure that we try to get everything right. And for my skills, I had to get better just to be able to draw those things properly. So over time, I feel like I've gotten better. And I feel like Brad and I are on the same page that he can just, I'll give you a secret about our scripts. There are always comic book references from Brad. We have such a shorthand and we all know what each other wants. Like we kind of know where things are. So if he says, do Flash or do, the Justice League intro, like you know what that means. And so
I did say that it was a Super Friends intro at one point.
Yeah.
I literally was like in some serious book. I was like, okay, the beginning, I said, this is in almost every script. I'm like, this is the nerdiest moment of the script. And I use like the Super Friends intro. We're going to do that. And then of course, like the next book, I'm like, this is going to be nerdier. And
yeah,
it is every time.
It's so funny. I think we absolutely destroy our publisher and editor because we make
she has no idea what they are.
She has no idea, Brad will be like, do Crisis. And then you're like, okay. And she's just like, what does that mean? Or he'll say, it's your George Perez time. And she's just like, who? So,
right. I'll show you the George Perez time in the Oprah book because you were so mad. I said, I literally was like, we're going to draw 1,000, I want 100 TVs just to show the impact on everyone. And Chris has to draw like this And he's just like, it takes him like days you can't just pump this out. And I'm like, George Perez will be so happy right now. And for those,
I can see why he kind of stepped away from comic books after all this time. All that drawing, it's tough.
I know it does. It takes its toll. I actually will say also, I think your art has gotten far. And again, I think your art is always beautiful, but your details and your attention to like look at this. This is just inspiration. This is a poster, right? I mean, the cool blue and then showing it years later in the red. I just love, and I love when you do these kind of beautiful rendered. Like this is one of the things we talk about in this whole book is perspective. And one of the things that he learns a new perspective is the first time he ever goes on an airplane, which was obviously not common back then. And he said when he looked from an airplane, that a city seemed like it was alive, that it was bustling with activity. And Chris drew this entire city I thought was so great from an airplane perspective and draws an entire city from top down. So I love that. Okay, let's go to more questions. Any chances of a Stan Lee book? We love Stan Lee. He's certainly on the list, but this is going to be something you're going to like even more coming. And are you doing George Lucas? We're Star Wars fans. Thanks, Amanda, and thanks, Faith. He's also been on the list for a while. Not as high as Stan Lee is, but if we can do something like that, of course we want to do that. Okay, this is one from Tina. I love the idea of self-acceptance. Thank you for sharing that message with the world. Our kids and we cannot hear it enough. Who are the humans you hope to write about in the future? I would love to read about Temple Grandin and other neurodivergent individuals. Agreed. Yes, we do agree. So stay tuned. And if you didn't come to the signing, don't tell them anything. Don't tell them we like that. They get nothing. That's what you get. You get nothing.
But if you like Temple, she was on Xavier Riddle.
Yeah, we did.
Episode.
Yeah, there's a full episode on Xavier Riddle, and she helped us with, and she was pretty amazing. Okay, Brianna asks, how much research goes into writing each I.M. book? I will speak for myself. I don't think you even realize it's not just the writing, but Chris does a ton of research. And the truth is, the original scripts were really, really heavy with like, make sure the angle is this way, and then it goes this way, and then it goes that. And then, I can't draw, or I would do a thumbnail. In fact, I did a thumbnail once. It was like laughable. You didn't even know what it was. But now we have a kind of shorthand of like worm's eye view looking up. But now we understand each other. And so the scripts have kind of shrunk in size. But the research into every book it's definitely months long because, you have to be going through all these things. I do have help with someone who's helped me condense everything out there to here are the books you need to read. Here's the best one you need to read. Here's synopsis of the others. And let's see where they differ. And someone who says, here are the different stories too, where this story doesn't match this story. And we got to figure out what's the real story and what's myth. And that is always a real trick. Chris does so much research too, that by the time we get to the proofing phase, because his part comes after mine, he's usually more current. Like when Lori, our amazing editor, comes back with comments, I'm like, Chris, I don't remember anymore. Is that, is Muhammad Ali here or is he here on that day? And you're usually like, he was here, and we'll have the answer right there.
Yeah. I mean, that's the great part. There's so much material out there to do research. So it always helps.
Okay, let's see. Yo-Yo Ma is a suggestion from Amy. We like an I.M. as Tina likes. I'm happy about that. Ms. Knight, you are here with us from beautiful Montana. We love it. Catriel is here. Okay, and Brianna likes the shirt. I'm going through all these questions. Okay, Charlie, Mandy Fulmer wants to say 6-year-old Charlie wants to know how long does it take to research each person? Oh, I just asked it twice. So we're going to do a new question. Mandy, ask another question. I'm going to do your question. And yes, John, when it is Perez time, the hair does have to be perfect. I will also tell you, here's one other thing that we brought with us. Who's coming up, you ask? No one asked that. Come on. I'm going to show you who's coming up. And you're going to see this. And I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to do something else. I'm going to show you something we didn't show people last night. And they're going to be mad I showed you this, but I don't care. They can't stop me. You're not the boss of me. You really are. Okay, ready? So here's who's coming up next. So you heard I.M. got delayed, so that was a bummer. Chris and I noticed that the Muslim community was really picked on in the last few years, and we do not like bullies. So we are doing back-to-back Muslims. We're going to see Malala. Malala, can you see her? Followed up with immediately after her, the amazing Muhammad Ali, who we got help with from our friend Saif Ishouf in Miami. Then AM Pay comes out with, check this one out, Dolly Parton, because she's awesome. Can you see that? Is that coming in clear, Chris? I can't even see.
I already drew her too, so she's right there.
Oh my gosh. So I'm like showing this and you're like, dope. It's right here. And then here's the thing that I want. We're going to have a little fun tonight. I did not show this last night, but I want your help. Okay, you ready? So I need some voting tonight. So we're looking at maybe, just maybe, changing our logo. I'm going to show you 2 logos.
Oh,
yeah. You didn't think I was
surprised even me.
So here, I'm going to do it because you know what? They can't stop us. This is our current logo, right? Ordinary People Change the World. It's in the corner of every book. I'm going to show you another logo. This is logo 1, original, OG. I'm going to show you another logo. And I want to know if you like it better or worse. Ready? Here's the second logo. Logo 2. Got it? Now, what I want you to do is vote right now in the comments whether you like logo number 1. I'm going to show you again so you can see them again. Now you can see them together. Logo 1.
Old or new?
Logo 1. Original. Logo 2. Now, this is important. You're deciding our fate here. I'm going to check out the votes.
Yeah, keep them coming. Everybody's checking and make sure you get your vote in because it counts.
There is. It counts, man. We are, because they keep asking Chris and I which one we like, and we really are like,
we're waffling.
Yeah, we are just.
We need some syrup with our waffles.
Yeah, we really were waffling.
Yeah.
How do I ask a question? Okay, let's see what the votes are. Okay, here come the votes. You ready?
Yep.
Logo 2, logo 2, logo 2, logo 1, logo 1, logo 2. Wow, 2 winning. Interesting. Wonder why. Books and Books voting for logo 2 also. I like that.
Interesting.
That's interesting. No one's seen them. Put in there why you like logo 2 or logo 1 and write which one you voted for so we know. And don't worry about the color. The color doesn't make anything because the color always just changes for the book. So you can see like it's a red logo on Oprah, but it's a blue logo on. So the color will always change. Don't worry about the color. It's just always, it's just about the design. Maybe I should have said that.
Either way.
I know. And I know I do have to plug in my phone. My phone is going to die. Thanks for noticing that. I appreciate it.
They don't miss anything.
I mean, seriously, you guys are crazy good. Let's see. Let me see what else I almost revealed by accident.
I know. I was going to say you almost revealed something.
We have a giant secret, by the way, that's coming. It is such a good secret. And I just want to make sure.
You can't even talk
about it. You can't see it in the bottom. You can't see it. You can't see it. I didn't blow it. It's such a good secret that's coming of who we're doing after Dolly Parton. And it's huge. It's super good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's more questions as they're coming in. I'm going to ask them while you're waiting to respond. It says, it is a tough call, Allison. I agree. What is Chris? Is for Chris. Chris, what do you do with all the drawings from these virtual events?
I would love to give them away. When we do the normal events, I just give them out to the audience members. To be honest, they go in the garbage. Right now they're on the floor. And then they go in the garbage. What am I going to do with them all? I mean, I'd like to send them out to people, but they got like a little sticky on the back and they get, I don't know. Maybe someday, maybe we'll do.
You're just like,
we'll do.
That's what happens when you're used to just being brilliant at that. Okay, we're going to take one more question. We'll call it a night. We'll let you guys go. We hope we've given you, okay, let's see.
By the way, going back to the beginning,
yeah,
I also sent a link to my mother and father, who I don't even think they responded. They don't.
You know what? This is important. This is important. To Mr. and Mrs. Eliopoulos, are you on here now? And the answer will let us all decide together what kind of parents you are. That's what Chris is trying to do. So we're going to look in the chat and see if Chris's parents respond.
Well, I will say, so on our first book event, my parents came to, it was in New York City. You were speaking, you got started talking, and then I got up, and that's when my father came walking in like the king of Siam. He was just like, hey, everybody. So I would think now
he's here tonight. We're going to be, let's see if he's here. Let's see.
I don't know.
I don't see him yet. So,
no, I told you. I sent.
Oh, here's from Charlie. Wait. Charlie's going to end the question. Look at that. You know what? Chris's parents aren't here tonight. And if you feel bad, you should probably buy an extra book and don't give it to them. You send them free books. Do they buy the books? Or you send them free books?
Oh, that's the fun part. The only time I hear from them is when they need me to send them free books. There's never hey, I just bought your book.
I can't wait because someone's going to tell them tonight that we were calling them out on not being here. And they're going to, like, Greeks are like Jews, like Catholic. The guilt is going to be so good. We're all, it's so good. Okay, so here, Charlie's going to end the last question. And it's for you, Chris. It says, Chris, Which person was your favorite to draw from Great Charlie?
We do this every time. A lot of people always ask, what's my favorite? They never ask you your favorite, which I find funny. My two favorite, again, have always been Neil Armstrong and Walt Disney, because they're close to my heart. I grew up loving the space race and Disney, so those were big. But last year, we came out with a book that both Brad and I thought would not sell a single copy. It was a hard book to do, but it was a rewarding book to do, and that was Anne Frank. We thought we weren't going to get anything, and to our surprise, so many people needed to hear that story. And so I think there's a place for that in my heart that I'll never let go now.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry,
the last question. You're helping us say goodbye in style. So with that said, number one thing we're going to say, what is it? Always. Thank you, all of you. Huge thank you. I had to save it. I know I said I love them in the beginning, but Books and Books is, we love you. Mitch Kaplan, I know it's easy to kind of click on the Amazon link and blah, 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 buy it, but buy it from your local bookstore. Click on the little, what button did they hit? The green button?
Yes.
Yeah, you can get signed copies. That's the other thing. Any other store, any place we do it, they're not signed by us, or there's like a sticker that they put in. We take your copies, I sign them, they will come to my house. So tell me who you want it made to. If you have a birthday present you need, or there's someone that you're buying for, Christmas and Hanukkah are coming, right? We're at the almost end of October now. Jeez. So we will do all your presents and your holiday shopping for you. You just have to pay for it, and we will take care of the signing. But thank you, Books and Books, for what you do. And thank you to everyone for coming here and spending time with us tonight. Some of our favorite people who we see online regularly tuned in tonight. And that's very, very meaningful to us, and even tuned in last night as well, Brianna. So thank you for that. And thanks for always supporting the Ordinary People Change the World series and supporting Chris and myself. We love you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And don't forget, you can buy the copy of the book from our website or in stores. And thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Have a great night, everyone.
Good night.